All right, now let's do a little math along with this, because we want to put a little bit more of science in terms of projecting what will my target be in a breakout. So let's look at our first rectangular pattern over here. Now let's look at the size, the vertical distance from the top to the bottom of this range. The height of this pattern was actually at price at 23 pesos and 20 cents. That's this high you see here. The low part of the pattern was at 18 pesos and 80 cents. So if you subtract 23.20 to 18.80, that comes out to the sum of 4 pesos and 40 centavos. This is the height of the pattern. Now, the height of the pattern, let's add that now to the breakout price. The breakout price here was the high, which is 23.20. So 23.20 plus 440, that tells me that this should go up by a minimum of 440, which would mean 27 pesos and 60 cents as a target. And if you had bought this on your breakout price of this range or a couple of cents above it, then your target should be 27.60. That should be somewhere over here. And you can see that easily the stock hit your target after making that assessment. Let's look into the second pattern. Here we have an ascending triangle. Let's measure the height. The height, the flat top here was at 31 pesos. The low side of the range was at roughly 25 pesos and 30 cents. So let's get the height. 31 minus 25.30, that's 5 pesos and 70 cents. The breakout price, which is this price here, the price that this went above resistance, was at 31 pesos, which is the high. So 31 plus 570, potential target, 36 pesos and 70 cents. And if you can see what happened here, it stopped at 35, but went all the way up to a high of 37.50. Eventually, this even went up to 40. So in looking at these area patterns, it can help you make an assessment. If you had this stock, you could have just held it. If you didn't have it, you could have just bought it on the breakout price, save yourself so much waiting time here, unsure of what's about to happen, or even here, and only put your money when it counts, when it's about to move, and then experience that profit-taking maneuver in a relatively short period of time. And that's where technical analysis attempts to be able to help you, in essence, that gauge of timing. Let's have another pattern here. Now, I'm using this because I've noticed a lot of people have been trading this stock every once in so often because of potential for a third telco effect coming into this. During that time, coming towards 2018, let's have a look at what happened in this stock. There was a very, very long area pattern. Remember, I told you, an area pattern, we will also look at the length in time. In this case, it did that consolidation for a really long time, months. And that means the potential upside that this guy was suggesting was incredible, because it did such a long wind. There should be enough potential energy to be able to push this up quite well. If you want to get a sense of what that's like, I want you to imagine that you have a soft drink bottle with you. And here you are, you're holding that bottle in your hand, and you're now shaking that bottle up and down, up and down. And if you notice, the bottle cap in there is still quite firmly closed. But the more you shake that bottle up and down, inside that bottle you create pressure. As the atoms, of course, get more excited, the oxygen levels, the carbonated oxygen starts to be able to try to free itself, but it cannot because the lid is on it. But inside that bottle, you get enough generated force. So can you imagine if you just shake and shake and shake and shake that? That's exactly what's happening here, where this pattern's winding up for such a long time. The minute you release that cap, boom, you have an explosion in price come in. And this is the reason that the stock moves from 1 peso and almost goes to 2, goes to 3 pesos in almost a bat of an eye. And so a breakout price, if you had bought it, would have reaped benefits to you relatively quickly right away. Also, if you look at the volume levels during the breakout time, volume is quite substantial. So that gave you the confirmation you needed that this breakout should be trusted. And it could be that rumors about this company eventually participating in being a third telco is actually coming into place. Although the details may have still been sketchy at the time, but rumor enough managed to be able to push it and liberate it from that big area pattern. After that, a new pattern was generated after this good volume. And you can see it flattened to like a horizontal pattern here, and eventually it broke out too. And after that, it just leapt also with very strong fury. Look at the volume, incredibly, incredibly large. Now, let me just warn you, however, a very huge amount of volume in a stock may not be necessarily good. And the reason for that, that means every Tom, Dick, and Harry may have bought that company already. And so look what happens after that. After an explosive move, this stock went from almost 380 all the way up to 8 pesos per share, or a little over. And after that, it has never climbed back up there and again. It spent a great deal of its time building a new area pattern. Can you try to guess what this area pattern is? It has a flat base, and you can see that its trend line up here is decelerating or going downwards. Remember what it's called? Right, it's a descending triangle. So now you have a seller who tells you he's trying to get out, some buyers trying to be able to buy, but only at this price, and eventually, look what happened. Over time, volume levels started going lower and lower until there was no more volume at all. So try to imagine the situation. You've got a lot of shares caught up between 5 pesos and 8 pesos per share. Now, there's no more demand to buy that stock. Volumes are very thin, and you're stuck in there, and you've been in there almost a year. And so it creates a heaviness in pressure, and is the reason that this descending triangle should have forewarned you that the impact of this should be a downside impact. And you might ask, by how much? Well, let's do our basic calculation again. So let's measure the height of the area pattern to the base of the area pattern. Height 860, low end 480. Size 3 pesos and 80 centavos. Where is the breakdown point? The breakdown point would be the break of this shelf. Also, you would notice I drew a trend line here, and you would clearly see where the breakdown condition is, right here below the trend line. So now, let's get this measuring formula, and let's now measure it on the downside here. So where's the breakdown price? Support was at 480. So 480 was a breakdown price. Let's remove 3 pesos and 80 cents from that, and it's telling me my downside target is 1 peso. You're saying, what? 480 to 1 peso? Are you kidding? Well, many people were telling me exactly that during that time. And please look at where the price had fallen to. So after that, you have a new downtrend line being created. We're still in that downtrend right now. However, after this major decline has taken place, volume levels are starting to pick up, which is a good sign. And hopefully this exceeded amount of volume should try to be able to pick up a worthy rally into this. I really hope that this can try to rally all the way back up there. But remember, you're in a downtrend. In a downtrend, we're just supposed to use the rally as an opportunity to get out. Because right now, there is no reversal in this yet. It's still a downtrend, but it's oversold. And so this rally should be used as an opportunity to lighten or take that position off. Not to involve a new position unless, of course, you'd like to be a daredevil and try to buy it here in projection of a target maybe between 2 and 2 pesos and 50 cents. If you do that, just make sure you have your crash helmet on.